Sure.
I'll take 5782 first. We have really bad bridges and roads in Rhode Island. Our cars get beaten up driving on them every year. And we get a lot of complaints from our constituents. I'm sure you get them, I get them. In 2012, we passed a bill that created a transportation trust fund that put an extra $20 million into DOT's budget to help them with debt so that they could more adequately maintain our roads and bridges. A few years later, we passed legislation that tripled the DMV fees and indexed gasoline to the inflation rate, with again the stated expectation or goal that those extra fees and gasoline receipts would go towards fixing our roads and bridges. And we know that we have very bad roads and bridges. There are 177 structurally deficient bridges, and you just have to drive around the state and you will see potholes and rough pavement that hurts our cars. And yet, and I know you've heard me talk about the Slatersville Bridge before, so I'm going to talk about it again. This is a tiny little bridge. It takes 4 seconds to drive across it, and they're spending $13 million on it. And the reason it's $13 million is because they're also spending money on a park and a garden and scenic amenities. And yet we have cars all over Rhode Island that are driving on what the director considers dangerous bridges and very rough pavement that is hurting our cars. So the intention of this bill is to say that all the money that we bring in that's supposed to go to roads and bridges actually goes to roads and bridges and doesn't go to parks and gardens and scenic amenities. That's what we promised the people when we raised their DMV fees. That's what we promised them when we indexed gasoline to the inflation rate. And I'm telling you that is going to be a considerable amount of money in just a few years because it goes up 1 to 2 cents a year. And that's what we promised them when we set up the Transportation Trust Fund and put an extra $20 million into DOT. So this says there's going to be a restricted account that we use for roads and bridges and not for amenities, because that's what the people care about when they are driving their cars. They want to know that they're not going to hit a pothole. They want to know that the bridge that they're driving across will not collapse.